Hey guys, welcome back to Sierra Science Show channel and welcome to a new video. Today we're doing something that, you know what, I might get a little salty because we're doing the video where we react to other people's 1-star reviews of your favorite book. Okay, and the 5 books that I have picked out for this video are like my all-time favorite books. So like, I am highly invested in these stories, highly invested in these characters, and the fact that some people don't like these books just hurts my little soul. So yeah, we're gonna get into it, and hopefully I don't rage too hard. I'm probably just gonna end up being sad by the time this video is over, but let's get into it. And I also have my tea here because I'm gonna be ready to sip when the tea gets too hot. It's actually an iced chai latte, so it's not hot, but we're gonna pretend like it is. So the first book that we're talking about, one of my all-time favorite books of like ever, okay, is Every Day by David Leviathan. I love this book, guys. Like, this is one of my favorites ever. And like, it's one of those books for me where it's like, I will never review this book on my blog just because I can't coherently describe the way this book makes me feel. It's like one of those. So if you have one of those books, this is one of those books for me. The first critical review I see is from Emily May, okay? And if you're on Goodreads, you know who Emily May is. She rated Every Day 2 stars, and let's see what she had to say. And I'm gonna get ready to cry. The first point of criticism she has for Every Day is that it's kind of insta-lovey, which, okay, listen, I get it. Insta-love is kind of gross, and a lot of us do not like it here on BookTube and like book bloggers and stuff, but I think the thing about Every Day that makes it set apart from like insta-love, like cringe for me at least when I read it, is that like it's a poetic book. Like the way that Leviathan writes this book is just like hands down amazing. So like the way that the relationship between A and Rian is like written, it made it feel like, even though it was instant lovey, it was kind of justified, because it's like, I wake up in a different body every day and I've never been able to like experience what love is, and now there's this girl that I'm super intrigued in, and like I just want her to like be intrigued by me, but she doesn't know that I am not the same person and I'm in her boyfriend's body. Next point of criticism that I actually agree with, now that I think about it, is that by far a bigger issue for me is that some people have praised the book for the unique perspective from the point of view of someone who is genderless and without a life of their own. Wow, what an interesting idea, right? Indeed it is, yet it is not explored at all. There is very little discussion of what it means to be male, female, or both, or neither. It is taken for granted that these things are meaningless and shrugged off. What a wasted opportunity to look at a fascinating subject. Alright, honestly, I can't sit here and lie, like, it doesn't explore the like idea of being genderless or being a male or female, because when A is introduced, it's just kind of like, here I am and I am male, but I am like a fleeting soul and I inhabit the body of girls someday and guys someday, and it's just, yeah, there was no discussion about that aspect of the book. I don't know, I think for people that were like going into it like expecting that, it was a disappointment, but for me, when I read it, it really wasn't a big like motivation to read it, to explore the concept of gender. Next review, I'm gonna need to take a sip because can't handle it. This person was salty. She gave it a 1 star and she took issue with a bunch of the technical aspects of the book. She went into all kinds of details about like, does the time zone jump make sense? Because if you read Every Day, it's that A, the main character, is in a different body every day, but he has to leave that body and go to a different body by midnight every day. And this reviewer takes issue with the fact that, well, what happens if you're in a different time zone? What if A were in Central Time Zone rather than Eastern? Does A spend exactly 24 hours in each house? And I feel like the majority of this review is kind of nitpicking the book, honestly. When I read this book, I was in the book for the concept, okay? I wasn't in it to be like, I wonder, does the time zone make a difference? Like, you know, I don't want to be salty back, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think that's a valid reason to hate the book. The negative comments seem to be very nitpicky, or like more people were looking for more technical details in a book, but honestly, I think this book was just like concept driven. There was also somebody complaining that about Nathan, one of the hosts that A is, he wakes up and he somehow remembers that A was in his body, and he's like, I was possessed by the devil. Reviewers on Goodreads are like, oh my god, he was possessed, like that's so insensitive, like that shouldn't have been written in this book. And I'm like, come on now, like it was literally part of the story is that you're A is inhabiting this guy's body for a day, like, and it's not by choice. It's not like he's like,
oh, I'm gonna go around and possess people.
So I don't really understand the like whole argument against the possession thing, because that's just how A functions and lives his life as a soul, I guess. I don't know. The next book that we're talking about is one of my most recent favorite reads. If you are on my blog, you saw my review for it. It is Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. I love this book. Some people didn't like this book, but I mean, most of the people that I interact with on Twitter and stuff loved this book. I loved it, so the fact that other people don't love it is kind of whack. Here's my first negative review that I found on Goodreads. This person rated it 2 stars, and the first thing that I see is unpopular opinion incoming. I'm like, all right, let's get ready. All right, to summarize what this person's feelings are towards Spin the Dawn, she said that it is lackluster, that the writing is boring, and that she just wasn't very interested in the story. Which honestly, I don't really know if that comes from not liking fantasy as a genre or not liking like very poetic writing, but like I loved Spin the Dawn. I was enthralled in the story from start to finish. Like, I mean, people have complained that I saw, like, even in good reviews, at the beginning is a little bit boring, which I mean, I can agree with. The beginning is a little bit boring, but that's just because there's a lot to introduce. Like, the world has to be built, the characters have to be introduced, the character relationships have to be introduced, like the political climate of the book has to be introduced. So there's just a lot going on. So like, I don't know, if you were started out being bored, you might not have been invested like you should have been. And so like, I don't know, I think this reviewer's like opinion stems from just a general lack of interest in this book. And I don't really think that is like, you know, like alright, so I found another reviewer that kind of disliked Spin the Dawn, and like her main criticism is that Maya is just too, like, she can't lie to save her goddamn life, is what she said. I honestly, okay, I know I should be offended, but that's honestly kind of true. I just found that kind of funny. Another part of this review is that she's saying that since Maya is dressed up as her brother, as a boy, and she goes to the palace, and then like Eden is like onto her and like kind of feeling for her or whatever, like she was looking for some bisexual representation, which she didn't get. So like, people that are looking for something in a book and don't find it, I get that you're hoping for something, but if it's like not something that was like stated in the plot, not something that was hinted at by the author, I feel like that's not something that you should really get mad about, because it was never really promised, you know? So like, I don't really understand people that like get mad about those things. Like, I feel some type of way about that. She also complains that Maya and Eden's like relationship is kind of instant lovey, because she says, and I quote, Maya despised him for literally 10 pages, but then her heart started beating and fluttering. She started blushing and thus changed her mind and started falling for him. Okay. I do not agree with this, okay? Because she despises him for like most of the journey. They are about like 2/3 of the way through the journey for the dresses before this romance really kicks off and is really like established. Like, I do not agree that this is a insta-love book. Nuh-uh, nope, that's not true. This is not an insta-love book, okay? It is more so a hate-to-love book, because Maya has a secret that she is trying to hide, because if she doesn't hide it, she will literally be murdered, okay? And Eden is just taunting her and making her feel like she is visible, seen, exposed, and she's like, literally, leave me alone. If you don't, I will die, you know? So I do not agree that this is an insta-love book. Not true. Moving on, the next book that we're talking about is Catcher by Kaylin Nicholson. So, alright, the sole fact that Kaylin Nicholson wrote this book gets under some people's skin. Kaylin Nicholson is a YouTuber, okay? She's a lifestyle YouTuber, travel vlogger, like, get your shit together type of person. Basically, that's her channel, and get your shit together is also her brand. Like, I didn't just make that up. So the fact that a YouTuber wrote a book and it was received well by her community has always gotten under people's skin. I don't know where I fall on this, like, under this debate of should YouTubers become authors, because some people are very polarized about it. They're like, never, ever, ever, because they never know how to freaking write, and I'm like, Okay, I mean, goddamn, like, let them try or something. Let's see the first negative review. Oh, hell no. Okay, so this person rated the book a 1 star, and here's what they had to say. They said, I was looking very forward to this book to come out, due to the fact that I follow Kaylin on YouTube and do like her content. However, upon reading the book, I was disappointed. I felt like the story was all over the place. Some parts, unfortunately, don't make sense. Yes, there were some creative parts for sure, and there were other parts that lacked creativity altogether. I even felt the cover of the book lacked creativity. Okay, hold on. First of all, have you seen this cover? Like, I'm gonna put it here. Have you seen this cover? Like, I want to see you do that in Photoshop, okay? Because I can't. I already know I can't. So don't tell me this cover does not look creative. What? A lot of people are commenting on the fact that there is some grammar error and just syntax things that she needs to work on for her next book and the like sequel to Catcher, which I do agree. When I was reading it, there were a lot of like syntax and grammar errors that I was even like picking up on, and I'm like no expert in English or writing whatsoever. So I mean, I get that argument. I can't even sit here and lie, like, and I think that's one of the biggest like drives for YouTubers should not become like authors, like debate. But like, I don't know, just Kayla Nicholson is my baby, okay? I love watching her, and I'm like hurt that people don't like the book, but I can't sit here and say that most of the negative comments that I've written or read about the book are pretty justified, except that person that said the cover is not creative enough, cause like, okay? Like, I'm just saying. Alright, the second to last book that we are talking about that I absolutely loved when I read it was Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I actually think that this is a perfect time to talk about this book and like express my good feelings about it, because there's currently like the Alice Oseman readathon happening on Twitter. So if you loved Alice Oseman, get ready to be mad, because I'm gonna be mad because nobody come for her, okay? She's great. I loved Radio Silence. I loved the characters. I loved the world. I loved the podcast concept. Oh, let's see what people had to say. This person gave it a 1-star rating, and this is what they had to say. With all the good reviews on this novel, I feel like I must be missing something essential here, because this was so incredibly boring, and the writing was so bland, with way too much telling and very little showing. And the characters were so lifeless, and the overall story wasn't engaging enough. Sigh. I just didn't get into this book at all. How could you not love Frances? Okay, Frances is like me. Like, okay, maybe this is why I like this book so much, because like, I resonated with Frances so much. She's like a go-getter, she's an overachiever, she just wants to do good in school, she's a small bean that has a big heart, and she's into podcasts and drawing, and she's like, I love her. She's creative, she's smart, she's driven. Like, how could you not love her? And how could you not love Aled? He's so cute and quirky and kind of just like, yeah, here I am, like in the corner being my own self, like, but he's, I'm sad. I'm so sad. You're supposed to love them, because I love them. I know that's not how it works. Don't come for me, okay? I'm kidding. But I'm just sad because, like, I think that the characters were so cute in Radio Silence, and I love the podcast, so how could you not love the plot? I'm sad. I'm mad. Alright, and the final book that we are talking about that is one of my, honest to God, favorite books ever is... I just lost the word. Okay. Alright, and last book that we're talking about that is honestly one of my favorite books ever, right up there next to Every Day, is The Memory Book by Laura Avery. This book killed me. Oh my god, guys, when I read this book, I was literally crying. I don't cry reading books all that often anymore. Probably when I was younger I did, but like this book just hit my soul. You know, it's like one of those books where it just speaks to you and you're like, damn, I love my life. I'm so glad this isn't me. That's how I felt about this book. So I am very, very, very connected to the character, the main character, Sammy, and I am very, very connected to her childhood best friend and the love interest. And like, I just love this world. I love the like, I don't know, guys. This is one of my favorite books ever. So I'm sad that I'm about to read very negative reviews, but let's just do it. Let's get it over with. Let's finish this video. Okay, so the first review kind of breaks my heart that I found. It says, okay, so I feel really, really shitty about giving this book 2 stars. Well, 2.5 stars. I wanted to love it so much, and it was a heartbreaking story and an important read for sure, but I just couldn't connect with any of the characters in the story itself. I don't know why. The writing was so beautiful though, and it's an emotional roller coaster, so still give it a chance, because maybe I'm just weird and I read it at the wrong time, question mark, question mark. I definitely think that you might have just read it at the wrong time, because if you were able to like figure out that it was an emotional roller coaster and that it was an important read, but you just didn't connect with the characters. I just think that maybe that was like a reading slump that you picked this book up in, because I want you to love it so bad, and I really hope that this person eventually revisited the memory book. I know that I want to keep going because I feel like this video is going to be super long, so thank you guys for watching. I know that I cut that one a little bit short, but I don't really think that the memory book is something that's super overly hyped up in the booktube community, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. If you've read any of these books, or if they are your favorites too, please let me know below so we can talk about it and also rant at other people that didn't like them, or let me know some of your books that other people didn't like down below, and just let it out, okay? And besides that, I will see you guys on this channel next Sunday, and yeah, bye!